It was called One Main, the House of Pain. That's what they used to call it.
Now, you mentioned that use of force was used a lot in your unit, in the House of Pain unit. Why was that?
Inmates take piss. Normally they defecation from the toilet. They'll take the water, they'll put it in the toothpaste. And they'll let it sit for days. And then when you're coming down the tier, they have the toothpaste and they'll pop it and it'll splash out and you got shit and piss all over you.
Why did you leave Rikers Island? Jelani Vanholten kept order inside one of America's most dangerous jails, but the moment he feared for his life and saw no backup coming, he knew he had to leave. Jelani, welcome to Locked In. Thanks so much for coming out here today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I got to say, every correctional officer I interview, they always wear the New York Yankees hat. I had two people yesterday with the New York Yankees hat on, and then a couple other the past episodes. It's funny.
The most famous hat. You got to wear Yankees, man.
It looks good though too. Like whenever I normally tell people, like for the thumbnail photos, take it like their hat off and their glasses, but the Yankees hat like pops in it. There's something about the hat, it just makes it look good. I feel like people click on the videos.
Yeah. It's just so New York. When you see it, you just like, it's so New York. Now that I don't live in New York City, I realize how popular it is because now when I'm in the South, I'm like, oh, he's from New York. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, you just like the hat. Cool.
Yeah, you came back from the cold to be here today.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, this is the coldest it's been in a couple of weeks. It's like in the 40s today. It's chilly.
Yeah, nice. I like the cold, so I'm with it.
Oh, you're okay with the cold?
Yeah.
Even after moving down south?
Yeah, I'm a winter baby, man. November, so I love the cold.
Oh, that's when your birthday is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Happy almost birthday.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Where'd you grow up?
Well, I grew up on 156th Street in Broadway, which is considered Washington Heights. It's literally a block out of what's considered Harlem. So that's where I grew up. Spent most of my time between Harlem and the Bronx. The Bronx is literally like, feels like it's across the street. Living up the hill from Yankee Stadium, once I cross a bridge, I'm in the Bronx. Or go a block over, I'm in Harlem. So that's where I spent most of my time.
What was your upbringing like?
Cool. I would say regular, but that'd be a lie. My dad was very entrepreneurial. He had a bunch of, like, we call them bodegas and little dining places. Like, he had businesses that I found out about later. My mom, same thing, very entrepreneurial, had her own credit business, worked as well. She helped my father in his businesses. So we were in what's considered a rough neighborhood or rough area, but we weren't, I wasn't really raised in a rough situation. Like, I always went to Catholic school, always, they kept me kind of off of the neighborhood type of thing most of the time when I was younger. That was pretty much, how I grew up.
Did they teach you about business and want that for your life, or?
My mom's just like, work for yourself, and I'm that way as well. As I got older, I got into having some businesses myself. I love the business aspect of it, but I guess what you don't realize is that sometimes when you work for yourself, you're doing more work than you would if you worked for somebody else. Everybody's not built for that, so I know the dynamic now. But yeah, I love business and ownership and having something that you create. It's nothing like it. It's rewarding.
What kind of kid would you say you were?
I was a jokester. I love to be the center of attention. One thing that was really fun for me growing up, my mom used to let me stay up late to watch The Cosby Show and different things, and I would be off to bed. And I grew up kind of wanting to be in the movies or on TV and stuff like that. So, I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, which I feel is like the best time on earth. Like, it was so much fun in that time period. So growing up with people like Eddie Murphy and these people and that people, just comedy and the shows and the Martins on. And, I just was pretty funny, loved to dance. I loved to dress. My mom used to keep me in, nice little fresh clothes. I used to love that stuff. So I was, somebody who tried to stay in the limelight, unfortunately. Got me in a lot of trouble.
What was your friend group like? Who were you hanging out with?
I had a tight knit group of male friends. I only really had 5 pretty much growing up. My family dynamic is a lot of females. There's a lot of women. So I always felt more comfortable around a lot of women. Or I've always felt comfortable around women more than a lot of guys. You know, guys get around each other and they want to like compete. It's a competition. It's, oh, you know, I'm better than you at this. I'm better than you at that. And I just be like, all right, whatever, man. Like, so, but I had like 5 friends. We were kind of thick as thieves. We would ride bikes from Harlem to the Bronx and, you know, go check on girls with each other and, you know, go shopping and talk about clothes and music. And, you know, this is the 90s. Everybody thought they was a rapper. So I spent some time thinking I was a rapper. But I love to write music. I got into all that stuff, writing music and stories and stuff. So it was fun, man. My childhood was really fun.
People still think that they're rappers.
Everybody still does kind of want to be a rapper. I'm not gonna lie, I do still enjoy writing music. But yeah, so
I mean, and that's great. More power to them. Pursue your passion, but it's just not sustainable in those early stages. You know, to just be a rapper, you got to work a regular job while you're building that dream.
Yeah, and you know, I didn't, I wasn't selling drugs, so it was hard to, like you said, sustain. You're paying for music videos and producers, and it's like, man, okay, well, how are you gonna make money off of what you're doing? Because really, you're just putting money into it.
Yeah, some people I'll interview when I ask them like what their career is now, how they rebuilt their life after prison, and they say they're a rapper, and that's the only thing they do.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if you really are, great. Like I'm proud of you, but I just hope like you're not doing something other than that.
Exactly. Like you said, how are you making the actual money? And it's hard. It's definitely hard now with the streaming. You definitely have to find a different lane.
Were you exposed to the criminal justice system at all at a young age, either through friends, family, or maybe even yourself if you had any run-ins?
Well, I mean, I grew up pretty much in and around Harlem. One or two times just stopped by the cops to, you know, where you guys going type of stuff, but nothing too intense. I had an uncle that was in law enforcement. So my uncle was a NYPD officer that I'm really close to. But you know, in that time in the 90s, nobody wanted to be a cop. Like, you didn't really want to be associated. New York cops, I think, had a bad kind of rap. You didn't want to be, I'm not being a cop. So it was nothing I aspired to do. I really only got into law enforcement because I had children, had a wife. I needed to have a sustainable lifestyle, and I didn't want to, you know, just be struggling. And it just seemed like they were paying a good salary. You know, they package it up real pretty. So I took a chance.
So you graduated high school?
Yeah.
And then where do you go after high school?
After high school, I took some time. I went to, I signed up for DeVry, went to DeVry. So I was in the computers and did that for a while, but it wasn't a passion of mine. So I had a time trying to find what I was passionate about. And it was like I bounced around. Man, I bounced around from being a security guard to Wall Street trying to be a broker. So I've bounced around from there to everything in between, you know, and looking for what am I passionate about? What do I want to do? But through that, a cousin of mine was on Rikers Island, and I told you about my uncle was in law enforcement, but my other uncle was in FDNY. So they kind of, that side of my family, my mom's side was more into getting a city job type of thing. So I did the exam for FDNY, and then I did the exam for corrections, and corrections called like that. And FDNY was, I think, a heavily sought after job, so it was harder to get in. Even with a great score, it was hard to get in. So I said, okay, DOC it is.
What year was this that you applied?
I probably applied in like 2011 because I started in 2012.
And how old were you?
At the time, I was 31, 32.
Okay. Did you see when you got the call and you went to the academy, were there a lot of people that age, or were they younger, or were they older?
Yeah, there were a lot of people mid-20s to 30s. There were some older people too, because I don't believe correctly, if I remember correctly, there wasn't an age there wasn't a cutoff, I don't think. So there was some older guys and some older ladies in there too. But yeah, the academy was super fun though. So I was hyped really when I was in the academy. I was like, this is a lot of fun.
I think you might be the first Rikers guard that said the academy was fun.
Because it pushed you, it pushed you to get in better shape. It pushed you to study. They broke us up into groups, so then there's a competition aspect of it because you're competing against other groups. So this company, that company, they taught you cadences. They made you step out your box. I grew up in New York, so I'm familiar with. New York is very aggressive. Pretty much. It's an aggressive place. So I was cool with that and being pushed. I love challenges. So yeah, that was a lot of fun for me, actually.
What was your mental state at that time? Were you feeling defeated because your past careers didn't work out, or were you ready for a new chapter? What did that look like?
No, didn't feel defeated. Optimistic, very optimistic. You get friends in the academy and that people I still keep in touch with to this day just because, we ran the miles. We, was jogging around the parking lot. We were doing push-ups in the gym. We were studying together. We were learning cadences. We were, doing all this new stuff. And it was just like, you go through these tough situations. You get sprayed, that. So you go through these hard times and these tough situations and you're just like, you start leaning on people, that's in your, they help you up, they encourage you, so it was just a fun time, but no, definitely not defeated, more optimistic. Yeah.
Tell us about getting sprayed during the academy.
Oh my God. I have I got a friend I still speak to this day. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to embarrass her, but so if something is scary to me, I'm a little opposite. I run towards it. If it scares me, I run towards it in the sense of now I'm excited. Like, oh, this is a challenge. Okay, go. So we were gonna get sprayed this day, and everybody talks about getting sprayed. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna volunteer. Let me go first. I just wanted to get it out the way. And then one of my company mates was like, Van, let me go first. I need to get this out the way. I need to da-da-da. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. Go ahead and go first. Man, she gets sprayed and she throws a fit. She's screaming, ah, she's yelling, ah, she's rolling on the floor. I'm like, oh my God. So any toughness that I have built up to get, like to actually do it, now I'm like, oh my God, what am I getting into? But we all did it, but the spray is horrible. Is that spray that they make, and they literally do it right across your eyes and make you blink. So you're going to get affected by it.
What does it feel like?
It's just a burn that you can't stop. It's a very intense burn you can't stop. It's going to open you up nasally. So there's going to be snot. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. There's going to be snot. There's going to be tears, and your eyes are just simply going to burn, and you can't solve it. It's just, you got to just let the time pass. And yeah, it's like, this is pain. This hurts. Nothing's going to make it better, but besides the time. That's it.
How long does it last for?
I don't know how long it would last without decontaminating, which is they basically give you water to flush your eyes. I'm not sure how long it will last in that sense. But when you get sprayed and then you go through the obstacle course, or what was the obstacle course at that time, and then decontaminate, it probably will take you 20 to 30 minutes before you start feeling okay. But it's going to be majority of the day. And fun fact for people who don't know this, when you decontaminate, when you go home that day and you get in the shower, it's going to reactivate. So the best thing for you to do, especially for the males who consider and go through that, lean your head back because anything that the water touches that's washing off your face is going to burn. So I just say you will burn in other places. So you got to be careful. You might want to wash your face in the sink first. But yeah, getting sprayed is definitely an experience.
Do you feel like the academy prepared you for what was to come at Rikers?
As much as they can, in theory. Nothing compares you, of course, than the experience. But in theory, sure. Absolutely. I had some guys who I consider great instructors in the academy. Yeah. I would say from the experiences that I've had, the academy at DOC was like top. It was like top-notch experience.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. So I was building my lineups for this week, and I'm actually excited about these projections. I've been having a lot of fun playing on Prize Picks because it's simple. You just choose more or less on player projections, build your lineup, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in. I've been watching this football season really closely, and I feel like Dak Prescott is finally finding his rhythm again. So I'm taking Dak Prescott more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think the Cardinals are going to struggle against Dallas in this matchup, and Dak is going to be airing it out. And if we're saying Dak is throwing more, then you already know I have to pair it with CD Lamb, more than 0.5 receiving touchdowns. If Dak gets 2 or more, I really like the chances that one of them goes to CD. The chemistry's there, we've seen it. Then I'm adding George Pickens more than his current receptions projection. Make sure to check the app for the exact number, but Pickens has been the go-to reliable target to move the ball. Even when he's not running deep, those short routes add up fast. And the best part is Prize Picks is simple to play. You could build your lineup in under 60 seconds, and Prize Picks is available in over 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Plus, Prize Picks now lets you follow other players directly inside the app and copy their lineups with one click, which is actually really cool if you're trying to build smarter lineups based on what other people are seeing. And you get flexibility. If you want a chance to still get paid even if one pick misses, you could choose Flex Play. Or if you're looking for the maximum prize, go Power Play. It's totally up to how you want to play. So here's the deal. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code Ian Bick to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Ian Bick to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. What was one thing you wish that they did teach you at the academy?
That they did teach me?
Yeah, that they didn't while you were actually in training.
I'm not sure. It's hard to answer that because you got to realize the academy is trying to teach you how to do things pretty much according to the laws. The environment on Rikers Island, as far as with the inmates, they don't follow those laws, right? Of course, they're locked up, unfortunately, so they're not following those laws. So what you're trying to do is go into a place that follows none of these rules and implement these rules. And what you got to realize is, and I don't know how they would teach it, but there's a headbutting there because you're coming in with this, and this, and there's all these unsaid rules that you'll learn when you work there, you know? And it's like, oh, okay, so this is what I'm supposed to do. But to get to that point, it's kind of hard to make that connection, you know, to how to do it. You know, it's difficult. It's really difficult.
How did your family react to you taking this job and going through this process, and your wife?
They were cool. They were cool. I had an uncle who was, you know, he kind of asked me, you scared? And I'm like, no. Like, he's like, all right, you know, you're going to go in there. And it's a preconceived notion because to enter into Rikers and, you know, you're in a male facility, and like I was telling you earlier, males compete with each other, but now you're in a super aggressive environment. The first thing you just gotta, as long as you're mentally prepared within yourself to kind of be who you are. And I think that's one thing that really helped me. I'm confident in who I am. I don't feel the need to be anybody else in any other situations. I'm like, this is like, a fan is not going to turn into an AC because you want it to be. You have to deal with the fan because it's the fan, you know? I'm fan, that's who I am. That's what I'm going to be. That's what you're going to have to deal with. And that's kind of just how my outlook on it, my take on it.
Tell us about day one at Rikers. After the academy, they suit you up, they send you in there.
Well, they kind of test you first. They treat you like a tea bag. They dunk you in the hot water a couple of times. So while you're training, they let you go to, you know, the jail. They let you go to Rikers. And everybody knows you're new because they call us the light shirts or the shiny shoes. So that's all you have in the academy. So you wear these light shirts and these shiny shoes. Everybody knows you're new, you know? And nothing really happened. People will say little things to you to see how you're gonna respond. But nothing really happened. You're with seasoned officers, and I'm pretty sure they take time to make sure that they put you in specific places that's not too won't expose you too much. But it's nerve-wracking if you've never been to Rikers. I had never been locked up, so the closest I've been to anything locked up was I had a suspended license and I was in a holding cell for a few hours. Like, so jail, going to that island, knowing there's 10 facilities on that island, and each one is a different level, different situations, different dynamics. It's like, this is a lot. It can be overwhelming. You know, it can be really overwhelming.
What was your view of inmates at that point in time when you first started?
My view on inmates, if I'm being honest, was they're just regular people, which they are. They're regular people. The dude at the deli, you know, who's chopping your meat, you know, he may have gotten in a tight situation and did a few years in jail for whatever. Like they're people who've been locked up are walking around us every day. So when you go in there, they're not aliens. They're people who got caught up. And New York is such a hustle. You're hustling regardless, either legally or illegally. You know, so both are hard. So you could trip and go illegally and get caught up, and vice versa. So it wasn't really I didn't really have any preconceived notion. Like I had family members who had been locked up before, just people.
Do you have the same view of inmates now to this day? Or do you think it changed at all?
No, just people. They're just people. There is a best of us and a worst of us in everybody. You know, I'm great right now. Who knows? 5 years, something traumatic happened to me, you know, or you know, you don't know what someone can go through. I look at people a lot, and especially people who seem problematic. And if you really dig, I think if you really, really dig and take the time, people who are problematic normally have gone through a lot. So the people who are the most, I'm ready, you know, reactive. They've probably been through a lot. And in most cases, what I found, they've been through a lot. So, but when you just paint over everything with the wide brush and you just say, oh, they're just problematic. They're just problematic. Yes, they are problematic, but why are they problematic? You know, why are they acting like this? Why? It's normally something behind it. And if you take a little time, you might find a human space in them to be like, oh, okay, I get that. And I'll address it differently because of that. You know, it's hard because you don't really know these people, you know?
Where do you get assigned to for your first shift? Like your first actual shift?
I think the first place I got put was called One Upper. I was in a 4 building, GMDC. Yeah, I think One Upper. It was a cell area. I believe there's two sides because how Rikers was back then, there would be one officer in a bubble, and there'll be 2 tiers on each side of the bubble, and then there'll be one floor officer who would go back and forth. So you had literally maybe 30-something bodies over here. I think it's 1 to 18 and 18 through 36. Or it's been a while, but it's probably 30 bodies over here and 30 other inmates over here. And you're literally walking back and forth trying to make sure nothing happens, which is problematic in itself. You're telling me if there is an issue or there is something that's going to happen, because on Rikers, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. While I'm over here, I can't see what's over there, but my bubble officer hopefully is backing me up and watching, and then vice versa. And then we're supposed to watch each other. You know, it's kind of like you're asking one person or 2 people to do kind of 2 things simultaneously. And it's hard. It's hard for an officer to do that, really.
When was the first time you experienced an issue?
I experienced an issue in the dorm. It was funny, really. I was in this dorm, and so my rapport right off the bat with most of the inmates that I've encountered wasn't really too bad. Like, my rapport was just, I'm here to do my job. I was not there to make anybody's time harder, but I wasn't gonna let you make my time hard either. Like, I just want to do my job, bro, the way I'm supposed to do it, and go home. I'm not trying to develop a thing with you, so now I'm doing extra stuff to piss you off, or you're doing extra stuff to piss. I don't have time for. I don't want none of that. I don't have time for none of that. I'm gonna respect you as long as you respect me. You don't respect me, we're gonna have a problem. But that was just it. So one time these 2 guys were about to fight. I saw them going into the bathroom, and I kind of got them out the bathroom or whatever. And they're on the floor, and I'm like, hey, chill out, blah, blah, blah. They're like, all right, V, we're gonna, cool, no. So I went to the other side, and then I hear a commotion. And I get over there, and they're fighting, and I put myself, I'm 6'2", right? At the time, I'm probably about 300 pounds, 6'2", 300 pounds. I'm not a small guy, but we have a spray on us. But I managed to get them apart. But one wouldn't stop, and he tried to swing at the guy over me. So I sprayed him. Spray all in his face, but now the whole dorm is pissed off because that spray is affecting everybody now. But that was the first time I had an incident, and it was so funny because they was like, damn, V, you sprayed? You ain't have to spray. Everybody was mad at me because everybody was coughing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I sprayed, But that was like really the only time in the stint that I was there that I used my spray.
Do the inmates get mad at the inmate that caused everyone to get sprayed?
They do, depending on what the situation is, right? So if you have a situation where it's really a serious issue that 2 inmates feel like they have to address, and they're gonna fight, and the inmates know, like, yeah, that's gonna happen because of whatever is serious enough, they just know the spray's coming. If the team arrives or whatever has to happen, they just kind of expect it. But if it's something that's like minuscule or like dumb, or one inmate is just dumb, he keeps bringing heat to the housing area, then yeah, they'll probably make him pack up or be like, yo, you gotta go. So they'll be mad about that from my experiences, but that's pretty much how they know it's jail. So yeah.
And when you spray, does it affect yourself too?
Yeah, but since you've gotten sprayed directly before, is a lot lower. The effect is a lot lower. So if someone were to spray now, my eyes might tingle a little, and I might feel like I've, got some kind of burning in the back of my throat, kind of like sinus area, but it wouldn't take me out per se. Yeah.
And now, do you stay at that unit your whole entire time, or how often do they switch you to different units?
Well, when you first start, you're on this thing called a wheel. So you're doing different shifts, and they're just putting you wherever until they find a specific place for you that they want to put you in or see how you handle yourself. So I did that for, I would say probably about 3 months, just was on the wheel until they actually put me in a housing area, and that was my permanent housing area.
What was the worst section you worked in when you're on the wheel?
I forgot what it was called, but where the mental health people were. That was, especially if you're working overnight. If it's 5 a.m, man, and you got a guy who's 6'6" and 280, and he's in his cell and he won't sit down, but he's just looking at the window, or he's banging his head, and at 5 a.m. I gotta feed these guys. I have to open the cell, and you can't show fear. Like that's not. Inmates eat fear. They're like, oh, he's scared. Even with other inmates, you come in there, if you're scared, that's a bad situation for you. So the mental health to me, because for me that makes me uneasy. I don't know how to gauge what you're gonna do. A regular person or somebody who's just prone to being violent or want to fight or whatever the case, may not like you. I kind of can gauge what's going on, see the temperature. You don't know what the mental health dude could just be and then just snap. And I've seen things just like it's a cool day until it's not. It's a cool day and then alarms are ringing. And it's like, what the hell happened? And it was like, we were just sitting here laughing and talking, and now we're putting on vests and getting batons and helmets, and it's going to shit now.
Tell us one of those stories from when that happened.
Well, one day that's kind of really agitates me. But there's a house area called 3 Main. 3 Main is right across from 1 Main where was my permanent housing area. So we had this warden, man, and he was just he was always changing stuff up for some reason. He always wanted to try something, trying new stuff, and it was just like, what's going on? So I was already in 1 Main, which was a very one side is pretty much a blood unit. It's pretty much all bloods on one side and all Trinitarios on the other side. So I already had what they considered a problematic main area to work in, my steady. One day they took me from working 1 Main to go work in 3 Main. Called themselves needing some strong officers to work over there. So I'm already agitated because I want to go to my steady unit. 3 Main had, I think this is when they were doing seg. These guys were pretty much, they only got out for an hour, right? And when you bring them out of their cell, if they go to the shower, they're handcuffed in the shower or handcuffed to the shower. If you bring them to the day room, they're handcuffed to the table. They don't have free range. Or if they go out for rec, it's really in like a box, like a cage area, right? So this is where we have the biggest, the problems of the problems, right? So, okay, cool. All right, you want to put me in 3 Main. Fine. I go to 3 Main. I used to work 3 to 11 tour. I mentioned earlier, inmates used to eat at 5 a.m., right? It's 3 to 11. I go in. These inmates are yelling and banging on their cells from the time I enter. Oh, where the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck is going on in here? They are, you could tell the temperature and the mood in there was like, what? I talked to the officer, what the fuck is going on? oh, one of the inmates, I think they grabbed one of the officers through the slot or something like that. And they were scared to go down a tier. They hadn't fed them breakfast. These guys are supposed to eat at 5 a.m. It's 3 in the afternoon. You haven't fed them breakfast. They still had the breakfast where the kitchen area was supposed to be to wheeling in. The officers were scared to go down a tier. They're locked in their cells. Why are you scared to go down a tier? All right, cool. So they packed up so quick, the officers who were there, the floor officers that I came to relieve, and left. But now I'm here. Now I'm holding the bag, right? And I'm really pissed. And I'm like, all right, I got to get a handle on this. So I go to the tier and I make an announcement. They're yelling, so I quiet them down. Yo, listen. This is V, it's Officer Van. They used to call me V or Officer Van. Yo, it's Officer V. I know y'all haven't eaten breakfast. Now it's time for basically the next meal, the next feeding. I'm gonna get the ones who need to go in the shower to the shower. I'm gonna start the breakfast. Right after the breakfast, I'm gonna start your next meal. I make this announcement. I need y'all to quiet down and let me get this going, right? I'm kind of pissed because now I'm in a tier, I'm in an housing area that I don't belong in. You reassign me here. This shit is tumultuous, right? I've pretty much gotten my housing area the way I want it to be. They know me, they know my program, they know how I work. I'm familiar with these guys, so it's easier. I'm not familiar with these dudes. I don't know who's over here. So after I make my announcement, I start walking. Oh, and they were also, I'm sorry, I left this out. They were splashing officers coming down the tier. You know what that is?
With jerking off? Or?
No. It's when the inmates take piss. Normally they defecation from the toilet. They'll take the water, they'll put it in the toothpaste. And they'll let it sit for days. And then when you're coming down the tier, they have the toothpaste and they'll pop it and it'll splash out and you got shit and piss all over your bro. I'm not proud of I'm not proud of this, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna just say this. I've made an appeal on a tier before. I said, listen, please do not splash me. Honestly, I will lose my job today if you splash me. I can't conceptualize a man peeing and shitting and splash. I could not conceptualize that. That was crazy to me. Don't do that. I'm gonna get you what you need. Don't do that to me. Don't disrespect me like that. All I hear from the distance, one of the last cells is, yo, that's Officer V. Yo, y'all chill out. That's Officer V. That's my officer. Yo, I'm like, who is that? It's an inmate that used to be on Rikers. I don't even know if that's I think his real name. I'm like, well, we used to call him Doctor. I'm gonna just say that. And he used to be in my housing area, so he know how I work. And so here I am. I'm getting the feeding started. I go take inmates out of the cell to take them to the shower area. Right? They're relatively calming down. I'm thinking everything is gonna be cool. I got an inmate in the shower. I'm going back to get another inmate because there's multiple showers in there. They're all sectioned off. So I'm going back to get another inmate to bring him to the shower. Also, during this time frame, it's been a while, so I don't remember how it lined up. I had a couple of inmates in the day room as well, handcuffed to the table. While I'm taking my second inmate up to the shower, all I hear is boom, 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 boom. I'm like, how the fuck are they fighting? I'm going in the day room. Now there's fighting in the day room. How were they handcuffed from the table? Long story short, the previous crew who was there, the inmate snatched the officer's cuff key, and he never told anybody that there was a missing cuff key. So these inmates that are handcuffed to the table now are undoing themselves and fighting in the day room. So now we're pressing alarms because now I got inmates fighting in the day room. I got inmates in the shower. I got one person on the tier, but I can't leave him on the tier because now I have an inmate I'm going to leave on the tier while they're fighting. I need to secure him. I put him in the shower. I respond to that. I'm in a whole melee in the day room now because a previous officer did not say, hey, somebody has a cuff key. Hey, you know what we're supposed to do in that instance? We're supposed to search this housing area and get the cuff key back. No, they left me holding the bag. So now it's all kind of report writing. It's a fucking shit show. It's a shit show. And I'm like, I thought it was, it turned out bad. I thought it was going to be a good day. But on Rikers, I'm telling you, from 1 minute to the next, boom, it's something totally different. Now I have to deal with all of that. Now was one of those days, man. I was really pissed off on how that happened. Because it didn't have to go that way. You know, you gotta use your head out there.
When you're assigned to your normal housing unit where you're there for months, maybe even years on that specific shift, is it hard to have other officers come in on different shifts and, maybe change things up or, treat the inmates maybe differently or enforce different rules than what you're used to? Is it hard to kind of keep control of the unit?
Yeah. I mean, there's just flat out, there's good officers and bad officers, There's officers who just have, there's a couple of different ways and cultures of officers, If you talk to Rikers Island officers who were there in the early 90s, late 80s, they'll tell you about just times when there was so much fighting going on and, we get an inmate, we do this, they ain't gonna do that again. But now it's not really like that. It's not really, stuff is not really handled that way. But if you have officers who've been there for 20, 30 years, that's kind of the school they come from, And then there's a dynamic where it's like, if you're in a male prison, if you're a pretty attractive female officer around a guy who's let's say he's going to court for years and he's away from his family and stuff like that. Now, you as a female have to handle these males differently and respond to them differently than I would as a male, who has to handle these inmates differently. So yeah, absolutely. There's people who come in and they come in with their culture and their views and stuff like that. That's why a lot of times inmates find out which officers are working and they kind of adjust to the officers who are coming in. They're like, oh, yeah, Officer V's here. If I'm sick or my leg's swollen, he'll try to he'll actually try to get me to medical. Whereas officer, whatever, they're not gonna do nothing. That type of stuff. But yeah.
How would you have considered yourself as an officer?
I consider myself a good officer. However, I do feel I was unorthodox. The guys in my housing area on one side were all bloods, right? Relatively the same age as me. I like going on the scary rides at the amusement park. This is a scary housing area. Cool. I'm fine with that. It's fun to me. But I've always had an element to my personality where I like to be impactful to somebody. Even to this day, I used to have an AAU basketball team for 3 years. I love mentoring young men. My first job when I was 12, I worked in a nursery school that I worked in, that I attended when I was a kid. So when I went in there and there's these young 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, you know, who are these quote unquote hardened gang members, or even the other side that was gang members, that doesn't move me per se, because that's kind of normal in New York City, being around Harlem and being around the Bronx. See, I heard Cardi B the other day say, seeing Bloods is normal. Like it's normal. It's not a thing, So I used to sit around at my shift, I hate me for saying this, but so gang members have this thing with big homies, right? So for a short time I lived in the Bronx, and I used to have some blood friends or whatever, and I used to play with jokingly with my blood friends, not disrespectfully. I used to be like, yo, big homies here, type of thing. So when I went to Rikers, and I had to do, when first thing you do when you come on post is you do a count, right? I used to be like, yo, on the count, big homies here, like, and they were cursing me out behind the door, like, fuck you, V, da, da, da. But it was fun for me, right? And that's a type of thing that helped me develop rapport with the inmates that I had, because I'm from the same place you're from. 2, 3 different decisions is the difference why I'm here and you're there. I'm not trying to be better than you. This is just happens to be my job. I'm not gonna let you get me in a situation though that's gonna put me here. But so I feel, especially in hindsight, that I was I feel like I was a very good officer.
How would all other officers describe you?
I have no idea. I have no idea, really. I never, respectfully, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, if I sleep well, if I know that I can go into my housing area, for example, I'll give you a prime example. I was in the Bronx one day, and I had this white R-Class Mercedes, right? I used to love it. And the same day, this happens the same day. If you're a Rikers Island correctional officer and you are somebody who constantly gets into altercations with people in the jail, you're thinking you might see these people outside one day, right? I was getting my car washed on East Tremont. East Tremont used to have this big car wash I used to love to go to. So my Mercedes is coming through the other side. So I'm about to hop in. And I'm not in New York, like, I don't have to look at my back like that. Somebody comes behind me and puts his arms around me like this. And they say, yo, V, what the fuck is up, V? And I'm like, he's calling me V. This dude has to have been in jail. Turn around, it's a former inmate. What's up, man? How are you? Da-da-da, we talk, blah, blah, blah. Cool, hey, I'm glad you out. Try to stay out, da-da-da. Go about my business. I'm driving to Harlem now, right? So I used to get my haircut on 145th in Harlem, between Broadway and Amsterdam. So in the chair is a former inmate that I had in my housing area. What the So what you do in there could catch up to you. I mean, and it can and it will, So because of that, I think I was a great officer because, one, I never did anything illegal. I did things that probably weren't advised to do, like talk and care about the people I had around. Talk to all of those guys. I'll tell you a quick little story. I moved to North Carolina in 2015. I took a year leave of absence, and I was living in Cary. Cary, North Carolina is really pretty. It's really nice, serene. I'm always up late. I'm a guy that stays up late. I'm always doing something. I'm always writing or looking at some film or documentary or something. I'm always doing something. So,
or watching Locked In.
Episode upon episode. So I get my phone's ringing from Facebook. It's like 2 in the morning. Who the hell is calling me on Facebook? I don't recognize the person or anything, but I don't duck it. So I answer the Facebook after a while. I mean, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, but I answer my Facebook. I'm like, yo, hello? All I hear is, yeah, nigga, what's up? Who the fuck is this? Yeah, da. They saying something, but they sounded like it could be something. Like it sounded like, oh, somebody's trying to prank me or start something, but I don't know. Anyway, long story short, this kid, I'm gonna shout your name out too, named Bentley, calls me. He used to be in my housing area. His name is Bentley. Bentley Bugs. Yo, I just wanted to thank you, man, for the times you talked to us and da and did this, that, and the third. He just had got out of jail. This was maybe 2018. So he had maybe did 8 years, I think, in jail. You know, I'm doing my music now. I'm staying out of trouble. Da. You know, I was like, he's like, yo, I had to find you just to tell you to thank you for being the man that you were in there. Because my thing is, and I tell people this all the time who know me, in jail, if you say you're gonna do something, if it comes out your mouth, do it. Don't cash no wolf tickets. Do it. If I say it, I have to do it. And people who know me know I kind of live by that. If I say I'm gonna do it, I'm doing it. It's done. Or at least I'm gonna attempt to do it and say, look, I tried, but I couldn't make this happen. And I never played Rikers like I wanted to be the toughest. I want to be the toughest officer around. That's for lames. Like, you know, who you are is who you are. If you can fight, you can fight. Why you got to tell everybody? Oh, I could fight. You not convinced? Oh, I'm the man. Why you telling everybody? You not convinced? Who you are is who you are. Just be who you are. People who go into there and are something, they're telling you they're something that they're not, that gets tested so quick. And then it's proven. And once they see that's not who you are, or that's not what you're about, it's over. Why do that? So things like that and times like that really hit me because I feel like hopefully he'll do something better and end up in a better situation or find a way. Yeah, as far as other officers, I don't really talk to them nor ask them, yo, how do you think I was as an officer? I don't know. So like, it's cool. It's a cool question. Maybe I'll ask, but I just haven't.
You mentioned that your housing unit was considered a scary unit. Why was that?
Oh man. It was called amidst GMDC, it was called One Main, the House of Pain. That's what they used to call it. I'm like, okay. But a lot of uses of force used to happen there. So, and I think they on my shift, my 3 to 11 shift, there was no steady officer there. So they had just had all different. So nobody could really get on the set schedule of how to run it. And me and my partner at the time, she was really young. She was from Brooklyn. We were so locked in and cool as far as what we knew we wanted from the guys who were in our housing area. My personal things were, I used to tell people 3 things. Listen, everybody eats on my tour. Don't cut anybody on my tour and no fights. Outside of that, we can have a cool day. Y'all want to get in yourselves? Cool. I'm gonna do my little options. Y'all want to watch TV? Cool. Y'all need services? Fine. Don't make my day hard. I don't want to make your day hard. But again, respect that's the top of the hill. That's the paramount. You have to have respect. If you don't have respect, it's not nothing in there is gonna work for you. So I had to get respect, give respect to them, and get my respect and demand my respect. And then that was kind of it. So it became a place where officers used to ask for overtime after a while, and it was like, why you want to do overtime over here? Because it calmed down. It calmed down because of me and my partner. And I feel like that can happen in any jail. I mean, if you're locked up, the CO ain't keeping you. He's not the reason you locked up, but he's the person there that's supposed to uphold whatever rules that's supposed to be in jail. Yeah, I get that. But even if he's doing it on a level that this is not a personal thing, this is just what the job is, and you lay it out, even if it may not be something that you like. Like, I don't want to come search you in your cell, but if I do it, I just do it with integrity. Hey, give me your shoes. That's it there. Here you go. Give me a shirt. All right, cool. Here you go. Give me, boxes. All right, cool. Here you go. Pants. That's just a job. But if I'm like, yeah, give me your shoes. Throw them over there. Give me your boxes. I'm tossing them. You're doing extra shit now. You know what I mean? You asking for. You don't have to do that,
Yeah, some officers be tearing up cells. I mean, like, I think the worst officers, in my experience, are the ones that will start taking like an apple or a piece of fruit. And you're not making hooch with it. I mean, the ones that are like, cool, take it. But if you're just a normal person,
Yeah.
staying out the way, and you're having a couple items from the chow hall, who cares? You're going to eat it that day. You're not, unless you're one of those weirdos that leaves it in the locker.
Yeah.
Like, guys in prison are convinced that if you take the food and just put it in the Tupperware container, you're safe. It's like a refrigerator. I had an old roommate, that a Dominican guy, he would put the food, a tray of food that we'd cook, left over in the microwave, and just sit it there for like 2 days. I'm like, bro, it doesn't work that way. It's not safe in the microwave.
Or put the milks in the toilet.
I haven't seen
to keep
that.
them cold.
They do that?
Yeah,
That's
you never
wild.
seen that? Yeah.
We would hang a net bag because when I was in Wisconsin, it was cold in the winter. That would be our refrigerator. You hang it out the window and keep all the stuff. So that worked. That was legit.
Yeah.
But leaving the stuff in the Tupperware container for days, does not save it. And no wonder why some of these COs be getting mad. But yeah, the ones that were super cops, I don't necessarily have respect for them. The ones that are going out of their way to flip cells.
Yeah. And I mean, I honestly had problems with and maybe that's back to your point of when you asked me, what do I think other officers would have thought about me? Because I've had problems with other officers because of stuff like that. I just flat out don't like stuff like that. Like, I had a captain, big head captain, I swear. Fucking head was huge. I come into work one day, and after lineup, he grabs a few of us that I guess we have reputations for or maybe he just grabbed us because we had big size. I don't know. But he takes us to a specific housing area, and we go to this inmate. He's like, we're gonna search this bunk, and we searching the bunk. He said, "Search the bunk." All right, cool, whatever. Search the bunk. The guy has like Doritos and stuff, from commissary. He wants to step on all these Doritos and just mash up all of his stuff. And I'm the type of person, I'm sorry, like, I question everything. I need to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, oh, this inmate cursed this officer out the other day. He cursed out for filth, right? It was Wednesday. This shit happened Monday. Why am I in here you want me to step on the Doritos and mess up because of something that happened Monday? And the story is because the inmate cursed the shit out of a female officer who wouldn't give the inmate toilet paper. What am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm leaving. I don't care. I don't care what authority figure it is. Sometimes authority asks you to do stuff that are beyond what you need to do. I'm leaving. Then you can't get me in trouble for leaving because this is not something we're supposed to be doing anyway. And I've never had that fear. So certain officers I have a problem with, just like certain people on the street I have a problem with. Oh, you a super thug? You want to bully people around? When I was in school, I used to love bullies. I used to love to bully bullies. Are you a bully? All right. I'm gonna bully you now.
Doesn't that make you a bully in essence?
Yeah. Why are you bullying people? Leave people alone. But bullies are where I grew up with bullies are punks. You're a punk because you're a bully. Like the real men don't bully people. Real men don't have to assert this and make you feel small. I hate that's the quickest way to get under my skin. Try to make me feel small or make a person or people around you feel. Why are you doing that? To me, it says something about you. Like so I have a few officers that I definitely don't like personally myself. I have a few captains that I'm not gonna say your name, but I do not like you, and you know why I don't like you. But it's because you're trying to be disrespectful, and you know it's not just in a profession where there's authority figures. You know, you should try to chill out with that. You're already an authority figure.
Now, you mentioned that use of force was used a lot in your unit, in the House of Pain unit. Why was that? And do you agree with use of force?
Yeah, if you need to, yeah. Here's my opinion. Like I said, respect is everything. You can't allow yourself to be disrespected in a housing area. So you'll get new bodies all the time. You know, you get 1 or 2 new bodies all the time. They don't know you. You don't have a rapport with them, you know, whatever side it is. They may have come from a place where they've had bad experiences with other officers. So there are a lot of inmates who are like F every CO. Okay. That's how they feel. That's how they feel. But if you have somebody who is invading your space or attacking you or going to attack you or you have to, of course, you got to defend yourself. And it behooves of you to defend yourself in a way that other people know if you have to defend yourself, you will at the drop of a dime because they're in that environment, right? If an inmate disrespects an inmate, it's gonna happen just that quick. And you have to respond in kind. If you don't, you'll be looked at like fool. So that's not a position you want to put yourself in. That's why I say be who you are. If you like, listen, man, I'm just gonna spray you if I have to. I don't want to fight, but I'm gonna spray you if I have to. Get the team down here and do a report. And that's what you do. Spray them, do a report. If you're somebody who, you know, is one of those officers who want to come in and be like you just said, RoboCop, you want to be RoboCop and you want to beat your chest on everybody, that's the energy you're going to get back. So, yeah, definitely there needs to be uses of force because there's really no other choice in that environment, you know? I don't want to jump around, but the gentleman who took my post, I don't remember the officer's name. I could get it to you later, but he was on the news maybe a month or 2 after he took my post. When I finally left the department, inmates tried to cut his neck. I never had nothing like that happen. I'm not saying that's his fault, but I'm just saying how you treat you got to realize you're calling these people inmates. These people are men. At the end of the day, they're men. They're going to react, and they're in a bad situation. Like, jail is not a cool place. You don't wake up in jail and go, good morning. You're in a place, man, mentally and physically, where this is not for your enjoyment. It's a constant reminder of a punishment. You're away from everything and everyone that you love. You don't have freedoms for yourself. So you have this laundry list of things that are on your shoulders right now because you're in this jail. If you're away from your loved ones, what's your girl doing right now? What's your kids doing? Are they safe? Do you got enemies out there? Are they looking at your family? Like, you got all of these things that could possibly be going on. You're going to court. You're trying to see if you're going to get off of whatever happened. The judge is not feeling you. You feeling like, I'm gonna be in jail for 30 years. You're all of this demise, you know? You're contemplating all this stuff. And then here's the CO. Yo, get over here, do this. Yo, go get that broom and sweep up this tier. Yo, now he's telling you, talking to you like shit. It just goes along with the rest of the list, you know? So if he snaps on you, you're probably just one extra thing, you know? If I could just say, hey, Adams, can you come in for a minute? Can you be my janitor for the day? Sweep up or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I look out for you. I'll give you extra TV time while we're doing whatever. Why wouldn't that be a better approach for me than saying, hey, dickhead, do that? Like, why would I do that? Like, you're asking for certain things. So they tried to, the officer that took over when I almost lost his life. That's where you work, and you have to treat it like this is a place where I could lose my life, is what I'm saying. So yeah, use of forces are important because you could lose your life or how you respond to something.
Now, you mentioned that the inmates respected you. What's one way for an officer to lose respect by inmates?
It's funny because everything right now we're preferencing how this stuff can happen in jail, right? How can an inmate lose respect for an officer? It's like, to me, it's the same at the street, same with outside. Don't be somebody who says you're gonna do something you're not gonna do. Um, uh, don't abuse an inmate. If you have to have a use of force, have a use of force. Make your point. Make sure that you're safe. Be professional. Be professional. I mean, that's honestly what they pay you for. If you're fighting with me, boom, 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 you're fighting with me. Now you're on the floor, and I could the team comes. I can handcuff you. Now there's 4 other officers around you. I'm not gonna keep punching you in the face. It's over. Like, I think a lot of officers already are functioning at a deficit just because of the history of COs, how they are typically seen. Like, growing up in the 90s, it wasn't a good thing to be a cop. COs have a reputation too, you know what I mean? So you're functioning at a deficit already. So now when you're there, and it's just like the street. If you respect me as a man, I respect you as a man. It's only based off my actions. You gave me an opportunity to be on the show. If somebody reached out to me and they needed something, I got it for them. Sure. If I'm communicative, I'm showing you with my actions what I care about or what I'm gonna project. If I tell you, bro, I'm not doing an option, or I'm not letting you in your cell until the next hour, and you're like, come on, man, let me in my cell, and then 5 minutes later, I just do it. He knows, all right, just ask me 4 or 5 times, he's gonna do it. People start to get, and they're like, he's not serious, or whatever the case may be. Like, that's, they just watch your actions. That's all. So just watch your actions. Be the type of person that you would want to be, be the type of person that you would want to see. Is what I would say.
Why did you leave Rikers Island?
Try to answer this the right way. I left because I felt betrayed. I felt like the department turned their back on me. So in kind, I had to go.
What happened?
So it was a chain of events, a little chain of events. There was a time I got injured on the island. We used to have these doors, these cell doors that slide. And the island's so broken down, man. They used to open up electronically, but it doesn't work anymore. So they used to give us these bars. I mean, this is really like a piece of metal. This is just a metal bar that you'd have to walk up and down a tier with, both sides, put the bar into like a lever on the top, click it, and then you can open the cell. And one time, one of the cell doors was really jammed. I couldn't get it open for the inmate to get out. And I was pulling on it, my right wrist, and I just like heard a pop. Fuck. So I chilled. I finished doing what I was doing. I went up to the nurse. I had her look at it. They sent me out, and I injured my wrist. There was a tear, like I tore some things in my wrist. So I was out of work, I think maybe 60 days, and then I came back for like light duty, and then I eventually went active duty. But I'm not mistaken if I was still on probation or not during that time period or not. But even if you're at work and you get injured at work and you have time out, they hold it against you. So that came to be, it got held against me because I had a altercation. I had a use of force with this inmate on my particular on this particular day. He had threatened to, like, in front of the whole house, and we were kind of having words back and forth. I just wasn't letting him move however he wanted to move, because I knew the things that he was trying to do was assert his dominance over the housing area. And we had some words back and forth, and he like threatened to cut my face. So my entire time on the island, out of the time I told you I sprayed, I've had 3 physical altercations in the years that I was on the island. That was it. I never had an altercation that was that I did in front of people per se. Like, for example, let's say me and you, I'm on CO and you're in my housing area, and me and you are bickering this day or whatever, right? Towards the end of my shift, I'll go to your cell, I'll let you out so we can go into the day room privately, because the day room's off the tier, and we could talk and see what the fuck is the problem. So in kind, sometimes an altercation would ensue like that too. But I wasn't the person who would, if it's just me and you, I'm not the person who's gonna hit my alarm. We just have an altercation. Okay, cool. I'll be back tomorrow. So one particular inmate I had a issue with, and there was a use of force. There's a physical. I guess it was a use of force. You could say that. Brought him back to his cell. And we had a pretty decent conversation, right? Cool. He threatens to cut my face on the tier. He's yelling at me, y'all, I'll fucking cut your face. Oh. So now I'm upset because we're going back and forth. So you're telling me, one, I'm like, you're gonna cut my face, so you must have something to cut my face. That's one thing. The second thing, you're threatening me in front of your entire gang. Because y'all are all different factions of Bloods, but y'all are all Bloods, right? All right, cool. So me and you got to clear this up because I work here every day. All right, cool. So I went to lunch, put on my vest, because we have stab vests and slash vests. I put on my vest just as a precaution. And then whatever ensued later. And I didn't think much of it afterwards. It kind of like calmed down and mellowed down. And my sons at the time, I have twin boys. So my sons at the time were maybe 10, 9 or 10. They were just learning how to ride their bikes. When my wife and I had lived at that time, we were in the Bronx in this area, and we had a front door and a back door, even though we lived in a building. Parkchester, what's up? So I came home one day. I'm not even thinking like this. This happened, and then maybe a month later, 2 months later, I came home, and I used to use my back door a lot. I had a pair of prison shoes at my back door. It was as if someone walked to my back door. In my head, it was like as if someone from Rikers walked to my back door, took off their shoes, and left them and walked away. Just to give you some backstory to this, there's lockers in my building. I don't never leave home in uniform. Not never. Why? My uniform's at work. Who knows I live here? And I saw in my head my sons riding their bikes in the back and somebody knowing that I live here. I said, okay. Seems like a message to me. Now, with me saying that, let me say this. There are a couple of people that I've encountered in jail that there are people that's just not going to like you. There are people that's not going to F with you. What I had with that altercation is my most notable altercation that I have. And I didn't go into great detail, but I'm not saying that that was the cause of the shoes. I don't know. It could have been totally random. It could have been someone else who saw me or noticed me or recognized me, who thought maybe they'll send me a message. I don't know. But you wanted me to know that you knew where I lived if you put Patakis in front of my back door. Got you. Called the NYPD just to make a report. And at this time, I wasn't carrying a firearm. But I'll tell you this, as a young father, I'll take Shaquille O'Neal out for my kids. I don't care who you are. Like I for my family, that's the line for me. That's the line where there's no more chill. There's no more. Don't play with that. I made a report. Spoke to the cops. They was kind of like Patakis back door. Okay, well, it seems like a prank. And I'm like, y'all are so. We don't have the same job, so you don't even. You probably can't equate what it is that I'm saying. You don't see what I see every day. You don't answer these alarms every day. When you go in my building, it used to be alarms every day. People wouldn't even go out for lunch because they know they go out for lunch, it's going to be an alarm. You're suiting up, you're responding to something. So after I made the police report, I go to my next tour. I go to whenever I'm next at the job, and I say, hey, I need to apply to carry my firearm because now I'm taking this as a threat. This is a direct threat. Later on, I was denied a couple of days later for carrying because I was out so much, because I was injured on the job. So you're going to tell me I'm doing your job, which I get hurt doing your job. I come here and risk my life every day doing this job. And because I'm injured and I now have a presumed threat on where I live, that you're going to deny me a firearm? How does that make sense? What way do you equate me being out on an injury to not giving me a gun because I have a threat that originates from my job at my home? Fuck y'all. Fuck your job. Fuck your money. Fuck all of that. This is my life. This is my family. Got you. All right. For me not to go into that, because now I'm here now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, that's true. That's your final answer? Got you. I'm not fucking with y'all. No. I don't have time to play to see if this is a prank. You know how many times I've seen people that I know grow up and be like, oh yeah, they just playing. That end up in the dirt. You gonna tell me I'm tired coming home one day? Somebody gonna be just randomly around my back area, or my lady walking with my kids, and you don't know what could just happen. You don't know what could happen. And you're not even gonna give me what I feel is the peace of mind to feel like I can protect my family doing a job where I risk my life every day, where I back my officers every day, where I care about, sue me, I care more for younger men growing up on a mental level, like trying to talk to them and trying to get them to do the right things than older adults, man. You should know better. But at the same time, because I'm not gung-ho to beat up, tear up your commissary, curse you out, not give you toilet paper or soap, that makes me an inmate lover, so be it. If that's what you consider, guess what? Fuck you. I'm a good person. I'm a good person. That's what I care about. That somebody could call me on Facebook because they just had to say thank you. That I get into an altercation because somebody threatens to cut my face while I'm working here. And I try to talk to them about it so I don't have any issues, and it ends up into a little physical altercation. But later on, when things seem to come back to you, and now it's threatening my home, the same people that pay me are gonna not give me what I need to protect myself. Y'all can have it. Fuck y'all. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting my family on the line. So what should I do after that? Say, okay, I'll just keep coming to work, working 8-hour shifts that turn to 16 because we're short. And I'm out of my home for 16 hours a day. And then when I do get off, I'm so tired. It takes me a day to recover. Then I got 1 day more day off. So guess what I'm doing? Everything that needs to be done. So I'm still busy. It's already not allowing me what I feel is the time I need to be a father, to be present. Nah. That's not acceptable. I don't care how much money they pay you. You pay me, it doesn't matter. You're going to pay me to lose family, that's invaluable. There's no price on that. That's not up for negotiation. So yeah, I had to make other arrangements. Time to go.
So you quit there and moved?
I took a leave of absence. We rented out our place. We took a leave of absence. Still stayed in New York for a little while. But yeah, I wanted a different environment anyway.
Change of scenery is always good.
Change of scenery is good. I had so many people, you wouldn't imagine how many people reached out to me. Yo, I heard you left. Yo, how is it, man, when you leave? How's the South? Yo, I'm thinking about moving. Like, so many people reached out to me. Like, some people didn't know. This is really the first time I'm talking about my story like this. Because it's my story, but I'm not like, yo, you know what happened to me? You know, this is what happened to me. This what it's just
You're not that type of person.
Yeah, I'm not, I'm not that chatty about it. It's like, yeah, stuff happens. You gotta make moves. Like what? It's no need to cry over spilt milk, man. It's just 1 + 1 = 2. Certain things are unacceptable to me. And my family's not negotiable. So rather be safe than sorry when it comes to them. With me, fine. Do whatever you want to me. Put me in this area, that area, fine. When you go over there, I'm a totally different person about that. So, yeah.
What do you do now for work?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
I work in a female prison now.
Oh, so you're in a prison. You're back in the prison.
I'm back in the prison now. Well, my sons are 20 years old. So, my lady and I, we're empty nesters. Like, my sons are 20 years old. I went to North Carolina. I stayed in corporate and sales for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, man. But now I'm just in a sense of, I just wanted to go to a job where I just have to show up and do the job, and it's a lot. Having the experience of Rikers,
it's probably a whole different ball game over there.
It's a whole different ball game, but it's honestly it's a different ball game because there's different things you have to worry about in a women's prison. They're not as aggressive as men. There's certain things that are definitely different, but the environment, the officers, the long hours is I've been exposed to it. It's kind of like being sprayed. Doesn't affect me as much anymore. I don't have to worry about going home and some inmate finding out where I live and this, that, and the third. Like I like calm, man. I like peace. I like simple.
And aren't you also working on media and a couple other projects you were talking about?
Yeah. Actually, thank you for asking about that. When Well, my sons got when they graduated high school, went off to college. I just felt like I could turn a little bit more into my passions. So I started doing stuff. I started writing more music. I started jumping into I started auditioning for like little independent films. I got in a couple independent films. I'm writing now. I wrote a whole entire series on my experiences on Rikers. Um, it's actually called Life on the Island. So I'm just, man, I want to get on. I really want it to be a series where it's on like a Netflix or a Stars or something where you could just see that progression. Cause I really in hindsight, I love the experience, even though everything's not wasn't good, but it was so, man, there's so much to unpack there, you know? There's so much to unpack to see how this big gangster kid goes to thanking this CO for this, or this CO who's not wasn't a street kid goes into the jails and how that experience, treats him. Because when you're a CO, yes, there are people that are in jail, they're inmates, they're offenders, right? But you're doing time. You get to go home, but you're doing time as well. You can't leave that. That's not a job that you just leave on the table and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just pick it up and clock in. You're thinking about it. There's serious things that are going on. There's things that you have to make sure you keep watch over. You're mindful of. When I was on Rikers Island, I used to kind of dread when I had a bunch of days off. Like if I would go on a little vacation or something, not dread it, but I'll be like, I know something's gonna happen because I don't know if you had this experience, but inmates, if they have respect for you, they're not gonna pop on your tour, right? They just not. We're not gonna give you no paperwork to do. We're gonna chill out, blah blah blah. But when I would go on vacation, I'd be like, oh man, I'm going for like a week. Like, what's gonna happen over there? And it's a hell of an environment, because you're always on 10 or close to it. So I've had verbal altercations with police officers because of it, who just I feel like doing overzealous things, and I'm like, I'm a CO myself, like, chill out. Or I remember at the time, my wife looked at me like I was crazy, but we were in this store a long time ago. We was in this clothing store, and we were just shopping, and I had something on my shoulders, and a stranger who I don't know like brushed it off my shoulder. I flipped out. Like, what the fuck? Like, you don't know me? Like, but I was turned up. So I kind of decompressed. When I went to North Carolina, it's so crazy. I was there for maybe 6 or 7 months, and I was like, I was working at Spectrum. I was working at the cable company. And I was like, yo, it's so crazy. Like, I haven't gotten into any verbal or physical altercations in months. Like, I was going through withdrawal. Like, no arguments, no nothing. Like, no sirens. I didn't hear nothing. I was like, yo, this is crazy that I've been accustomed to this so much that now that I'm not in it, it's like this calm is weird, But yeah, I'm working on a lot of things. I want to continue to do acting, which I'll continue to pursue because that was one of my passions as a kid growing up, And I definitely want to do this series, Life on the Island. I think I was a huge Power fan.
I love Power.
Did you
we
love
had
her?
Gianni on the show.
I
That
saw
plays Braden and Teresa. Patricia Callenber, who played Tommy's mom.
Okay, I did see Gianni out on your wall out there, man.
We have a
Power.
couple Force actors coming on the show.
That's dope. That's dope. Tommy's incredible. But I loved it from the first one. I watched them all, and
we were watching it in prison.
Were you?
Yeah, that's how I found out about it.
I used to watch it. I think Stars used to let you see it at like 12 midnight. I would wait till 12 midnight. Like my friends would hate me because I'd be on Facebook like, did y'all see Power? They'd be like, spoil, like it's spoiling it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. But
it really is the best show.
It was one of absolutely.
It would have blown up even more if it was on a different network, like a Netflix or something.
Think so?
So good. I think so, yeah.
But that's the kind of suspense that I want to have in Life on the Island. So I've reached out to a couple of people. Nobody's reached back yet, but I'm stalking a couple of people.
It takes time, man.
It does.
You know, it's consistency and time. I've learned you don't rush the process and everything comes to you at the exact moment it's supposed to.
I feel that. I agree with that. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thanks. It's been super fun. Thanks, man.
Good. I'm glad you enjoy it, and thanks for supporting the show, man.
Absolutely. We'll continue to.
Awesome.
All right.